Good morning, chestnuts. I hope you're ready for Thursday's maths for today, and it's going to be our last lesson focusing on the 3 times tables. What I'd like you to do first is have a go at filling in this number wheel. You use 3 in the middle and we're multiplying it by the numbers in the next ring, and the answer is on the outside ring. So you need to think with this one, for example, what is 3 times 5? But with this one, you're thinking, what do I times by 3 to make 24? Which would be the same as 24 divided by 3 equals what? So you might want to pause it and have a go on a separate piece of paper at writing down the missing answers, and then I will fill them in a minute. So let's go through them and see what we had in common. We've got 3 times 5 is 15. Let's do the easier ones first. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 7 is 21. Then we'll look at the inner rings. So what do you times by 3 to make 33? Or you could think of it as 33 divided by 3 equals what? And the answer would be 11. And then here, what do I times by 3 to make 24? Or 24 divided by 3 is, and we'll have got 8. And for the final one, what do I times by 3 to make 18? Or 18 divided by 3 is what? And the answer is 6. So today we're going to be answering the question, can I divide by 3 by partitioning? And to be successful today, you need to use your 3 times table knowledge and partition into tens and ones or into numbers known in the 3 times tables. And that's going to become a bit clearer as the lesson goes on. So today we are going to be dividing larger numbers by 3 using partitioning. So the first thing I want to think about is how we partition numbers. And the easiest way to partition them is into their tens and ones. So we're going to do that first. So we've got 96. And if we were partitioning 96 into its tens and its ones, we'd partition into 90 and into 6, because we know that 90 plus 6 equals 96. Now, why don't you have to think about this one? How would we partition 33 into its tens and its ones? Hopefully, you'll have thought of 30 and 3, because 30 plus 3 equals 33. And the last one, 69. There are 6 tens, and 6 tens represents 60, and there are 9 ones, because again, 60 plus 9 equals 69. What we're going to look at next, because we're going to be focusing on larger numbers today, is the relationship between different numbers. So I want you to think, how many times bigger than 3 is 30? How many times bigger than 6 is 60? And how many times bigger than 9 is 90? What that means is, what do you times 3 by to make 30? What do you times 6 by to make 60? And what do you times 9 by to make 90? And hopefully you'll recognise that all of them are 10 times bigger, which means 3 times 10 is 30, 6 times 10 is 60, and 9 times 10 is 90. And we're going to use these facts today to help us with our division. So, thinking of what we've just discussed there, if we know that 6 divided by 3 is 2, what would 60 divided by 3 be? Now, if we know that 60 is 10 times bigger than 6, that means the answer is going to be 10 times bigger. And 2 times 10 is 20. So if 6 divided by 3 is 2, 60 divided by 3 is 20. Why don't you have a go at the next one? If 9 divided by 3 is 3, then what is 90 divided by 3? Why don't you pause the video and have a discussion with the person next to you, or write it down on a piece of paper. So, if 9 divided by 3 is 3, we know that 90 is 10 times bigger than 9, so the answer is going to be 10 times bigger, and 10 times 3 is 30. 3 lots of 30 would make 90. We're going to use that knowledge today to do division, and you're going to be laying out your work just like I'm laying out mine here. The first question we're going to have a look at is 33 divided by 3. Now I know you might be confident with that because it's a number that's already in the 3 times tables up to 12 times 3, but it's still really important to understand how partitioning can help us. So we could partition 33 into 30 and 3. And what we would then do is think that we know 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 30 divided by 3, which is 10 times bigger, must be 10. And 3 divided by 3 is already 1. What we then do is use those numbers. I'm just going to highlight them for you. We've got a 10 and we've got 1, and we're going to add them together. And 10 plus 1 equals 11. So 33 divided by 3 equals 11, which we already know. So hopefully you can see there how partitioning helps. So this question, for example, 96 divided by 3. 96 is a large number, and it'd be hard to work out that division just in our heads. So let's partition it. As I'm revealing it, have a think, how would I partition 96? Hopefully you'll have partitioned it into 90 and 6. Now, we already know that 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we can do that one straight away. We then need to think about what is 90 divided by 3. What facts do we already know? We know that 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And 90 is 10 times bigger than 9, so the answer is going to be 10 times bigger. So 90 divided by 3 must be 30. And then, like we did last time, we've got 30 and we've got 2. And what do we need to do to them? Hopefully you've said it. We need to add them together. And 30 plus 2 is 32. So 96 divided by 3 is 32. Now, when we partition, we need to make sure that the numbers that we partition are multiples of 3, so that we can easily divide them. And you should recognise them as being parts of the 3 times tables. The first set of questions you're going to be doing this morning are just like the ones we did there, where we need to partition them into their 10s and into their 1s. But I've also set you a bit of a challenge. And I'm going to go through those types of questions now. If you find it a little bit tricky, then don't worry. What you can do is pause the video and focus on the first 10 questions that I have uploaded onto Dojo. But if you'd like a little bit of a challenge, then keep listening and you can have a go at doing these ones as well. So what you'll see now is I've written the number 126 divided by 3. I don't want to partition it into 100s, 10s and 1s because I can't divide 20 by 3 equally. But when I look at this number, I know that I can partition 6, and I know I can divide 6 by 3, which leaves us with 120. Now hopefully you can think, I know that 12 is in the 3 times tables, so 120 must be in the 3 times tables too. And we know that 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So 120 divided by 3 should be 10 times bigger. So 120 divided by 3 would be 40. And we already know that 6 divided by 3 is 2. And just like we did before, we're going to take these two numbers and we're going to add them together. So 126 divided by 3 is 42. Okay, so what we've done there is we've looked at 126 and thought, which numbers do we recognise that would be multiples of 3? Okay, good. We're going to do one more together and then you're going to have a go at doing your task. So here we've got 78 divided by 3. Now again, this one is a little more challenging, so really focus, because I can't partition it into 8 because 8 can't divide equally by 3. But what I can think of is what number in the 3 times table ends with an 8. So I'm going to have a think. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 18 ends with an 8. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to partition it into 18. And what do you add to 18 to make 78? 60. Hopefully you thought, 60 is definitely in the 3 times tables, and so is 18. So we can do 60 divided by 3 and 18 divided by 3. Again, if we know that 6 divided by 3 equals 2, and 60 is 10 times bigger, that means 60 divided by 3 must be, hopefully you've said it, 20. And we know that 18 divided by 3 is 6. So the final thing we need to do, and I'm going to get my highlighter out, is take these two numbers, and what do we need to do to them? Hopefully you've said it. Add them together, which means 78 divided by 3 is 26. So your work for today is you've got these first 9 questions where you're going to use partitioning to work them out, and you're going to be partitioning them into the 10s and the 1s. If you're happy with that, then you can have a go at the challenge. And the challenge is when you need to partition them slightly differently. You need to look at what numbers you recognise being in the 3 times tables and think how to partition them that way. If you're finding it a bit too tricky, then don't worry. I just want you to try your very hardest. I will speak to you later, chestnuts, and good luck with your maths. I look forward to seeing what you upload. Bye!